Naturalistas, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a story for you guys. So one day when I was 12, I was like, oh my gosh, I want to color my hair, so I decided to ask my mom, how do people color their hair? And she said, well, they go to the hairdresser and the hairdresser puts bleach in their hair and then they put the hair dye and then that's how you dye your hair. But me as a youth, I don't have no money to go to the hairdresser, so I say I will do a little DIY at home. So I was like, alright, I have bleach, but I have no hair dye. So I was like, mommy, and I don't know if my mom was just oblivious or if she was just telling me this knowing fully well that I was going to try this on myself. But I was like, mommy, how people just dye their hair without hair dye? So she's like, well, some people just use permanent marker and Kool-Aid and things like that. Anything that have color in it, you can dye your hair. So I was like, oh, okay. So me with my silly self, I went and I took a permanent marker, a red permanent marker, and I took my hair and I was like, and in the light you can see the color, but because my hair is dark, you couldn't really see it. So I say, all right, let me try some bleach. Ole, we know that hair bleach and actual bleach is two different things, right? 12-year-old me did not know that, honestly. So I went and I got a cap of Clorox. And I put the little same strand, and I put it in Clorox. I said, alright, I'll watch some Nickelodeon here, I'll watch some Keenan and Kells, right? When it was time for me to take out my hair, all I did was this, and I saw all my hair in the freaking Clorox all there. I saw all my hair that I put in the freaking Clorox. And I didn't believe it, I didn't believe it. I was like, what? And that brings me to 16 things to not do when coloring your hair at home, ladies and gentlemen. So before I even move on, full disclosure, if you wash your hair at home and get shampoo in your eyes, this video is not for you. You need to go to the salon, baby. You can't do this. If you can't even rinse your hair without getting shampoo in your eye, this video not for you. And I'm shading myself because I just get shampoo in my own eye. But that's besides the point. Let me run the tips. First things first, do not just buy one box. You see that one box thing? Especially if you have thick hair or long hair that is past your shoulders, it's recommended that you buy at least 2 boxes. Even if you don't use the second box, you still have that box for in the future when you need to do touch-ups and everything. But last thing that you need in your life is that you halfway through coloring and you see boom whaps, it has no more dye. Don't do yourself that. Buy more than just one box of dye. It might sound obvious, but don't pick a color just because it's popular and trending. Like, yes, I understand that silver hair and pastel pink hair is trending, but that might not work for me, Maybe a dark red or black might work for me. So make sure that you pick a color that you actually like, because at the end of the day, it's your hair and you have to wear it. So you have to make sure you are completely happy with the color that you pick. Do not wash your hair before you dye it. It's very important that your scalp has the natural oils to protect against the chemicals in the dye itself. So if you absolutely need to wash your hair, I would say at least 48 hours before dyeing your hair. Do not neglect brushing your hair. Even a small knot could cause a whole lot of trouble when you are in the middle of dyeing your hair. So best to detangle before you dye. Don't take the box gloves for granted. You see those flimsy plastic gloves that they give you in the box? Like, yeah, that's all well and good if you want to dye your hair, but it gets dirty after a while. And I've found that sometimes the dye still gets on your fingers and on your skin and stains your skin for a while. So what I would recommend is buying surgical gloves. That way you have a pair for when you dye your hair, and then you can switch out to a new pair when you have to wash your hair, because remember, there's a whole washing process too, and you still don't want to get dye on your skin from your hair. So make sure and get some surgical gloves. It'll give you more support too. Don't just slap on the dye, right? Make sure you read your manual. Make sure you have all the tools set out, everything that you'd possibly need. Make sure to do a patch test, which is testing on your skin to make sure that the dye does not burn your skin. It's better to know up front than in the middle or at the end when your entire scalp is in flames, right? I'd also recommend doing a patch test. The worst thing to do is dye your hair, and only after your entire head is dyed you realize you don't like the color. So make sure and do a strand test, especially if it's a new color that you're doing. Don't overlook protecting your skin. So as I said before, hair dye stains, na boy, it stains. So what I would recommend doing is sectioning your hair from the back, and you section it and you grease your scalp, and you section it and you grease your scalp. So you do that from the back, come forward, and then you do it from the side, lengthways. From the side you go and you grease that down too, and you go all the way down, and then you should also grease your hairline as well as the back by the nape of your neck. By doing this, it just avoids the whole issue of your scalp turning the exact same color as the dye. I cannot tell you all how many times I've seen people with red hair with equally red scalps. Don't do it. Don't do that to yourself. Don't dirty your good clothes and your good towels, right? I recommend having 1 or 2 towels for the most dedicated to dyeing your hair. So you have 1 towel over your shoulders for the excess dye, and then you have another towel for when you rinse out your hair. Also, don't dirty up your good clothes. Get an old jersey or get an old top that nobody's wearing and cover yourself in that, so that your skin doesn't get dyed and your good clothes don't get dye on it too. Don't apply all the dye at once. Like, you see this hair especially, I can't just take the dye and be like whip swaps, bradaps. No, professional stylists actually section off hair in quarters. So what you do is that you section it in half going this way, and then you section it in half going this way, and you work in those quarters. Even in quarter sections, you don't just whip swaps and put it on. You still have to make like subsections, especially if your hair is as thick as mine. You need to make subsections and start at 1/4 inch of the root, not so much on the scalp, about here, and you work your way down, and then you work it back up to your root so it's not so harsh. Another thing is, you should also start at the front of your hair, because the front of your hair is the most seen, so it requires the most amount of development time for the dye itself. So start at the front and work your way back. This might sound counterproductive, but do not use the bottle that you get with your hair dye. The reason that I say that is because you're not going to get the precision coloring that you want. Professional stylists, they use a professional brush and a bowl. Yes, Sol, yes. Right. Oh gosh, I get 2 in the pack. First, I never opened this, right? These are the professional brushes that I'm speaking about. But I think this was about $10 in Pennywise. Pennywise! $10 TT for 2 brush. Right, so those brushes are $10 in Pennywise, so you all have no excuse not to get it, right? And if it is that you're doing highlights, what I saw recommended online in one of my naturalista groups is that you can use a toothbrush. And I was like, what? Why would you use a toothbrush? But when you section off your hair and you use a toothbrush, it has a more realistic look. It doesn't look like a block of highlight. It looks like, hey, this highlight actually naturally happens in my hair. There's no chemicals involved here. You know, so if you're doing highlights, you should use a toothbrush. Don't just use one mirror. Remember, at the end of the day, you're coloring your whole head. And it's very hard to see what you're doing in the back if you just have one mirror. So I would recommend having 2 or more mirrors if you have it, but two mirrors should be fine. One for the front, one for the back. And that way you'd be able to gauge and see what you're doing in the back so that you don't mess it up. Don't think excess dye will just wash off. So you already finished putting dye in your hair, but you're seeing some dye droplets on your face. Baby girl or baby boy, you need to wipe that off one time. Get a baby wipe or makeup wipe or a damp towel and just pass it where you see the dye, because the worst thing to happen is when you rinse that out and the dye done already stain your friggin' scalp and you walking around like your Jerry curl just dripping down all over the place. Don't do it to yourself now. Just wipe the thing one time once you see it. One time. Don't just leave your dyed hair out. Again, it sounds silly, it sounds obvious, but you need to tie up your hair in a heavy duty shower cap once you have all the dye in. Because imagine walking around with dye in your hair and all on your good floors and all your good furniture gets stained up because you didn't want to slap on a little shower cap on your head. Don't lose track of time. You need to have a timer that tells you, hey, it's time to rinse this out. Some people think that leaving the dye in longer is going to make the color pop more, but from my experience and what I've seen with other people, you might have a red in your hair and you say, well, the box said 30 minutes, I go leave it for an hour, and you know what happened? It come out orange. So follow the rules on the blinking box, please. Set your timer, stick to the time. If you want to check the color, you could always take a strand, wash it a little bit with your hand and see if that's the desired color that you want. If you want it to stay a little bit longer, okay, cool. But don't leave it too long. Always remember as well, some colors need multiple sessions to achieve the color. So maybe you dye your hair once, come back the next day, dye it again. Simple. Have some patience. Don't use shampoo, especially for the first time that you rinse out your hair. The sulfates in the shampoo will naturally wash out whatever color that you had in. So for the first time that you're rinsing your hair, you should just rinse it with water and condition. And when you shampoo in the future, you should get a shampoo that doesn't have sulfates in it, just to prolong the amount of time that your hair is colored. On the other hand, you could also get a shampoo and conditioner set specifically made for the dyed hair, because that helps to retain the color for longer. I always tell people, no matter what, wash your hair once for the week, because remember, when you wash your hair, you're washing away all those natural oils and everything. Far worse for if you have color in your hair. So I would say wash your hair once a week. But if you're one of those persons who has a greasy scalp or whatever, I would say every other day if necessary. Like if you usually wash your hair every day, which I do not recommend, and you color your hair, I would say to wash it every other day, just to prolong the color in your hair. And last thing, do not think that blonde and silver hair can be achieved in one session. Most times you have to bleach your hair 2-3 times, depending on how thick it is, the volume of it, and how dark it is. And then even then, you may have to use a purple toner. For blonde hair, that takes out the brassiness. For silver hair, it takes out the yellowness of it. And then after you've bleached your hair, you need to still go over with a blonde or silver dye to achieve the desired color that you want. So do not think that blonde or silver hair just happens overnight unless you're already starting off with light colored hair. If you have black or dark brown hair like me, it's going to take a good few tries, at least two. Do you guys have any mishaps at home coloring your hair? Please tell me your stories in the comments. I don't want to feel like a nerd, like I'm the only person who has ever colored my hair at home and just done utter crap. Oh my gosh, I kill myself, honestly. Listen, I don't even understand what possessed me to just be like, yeah, let me just use some chlorine in my hair. Anyway, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe to my channel for great content on natural hair weekly. And I'll see you guys next week.